Far above rivers, farms, and quiet villages, there stands a white city built into the mountainside itself, Minas Tirith, the Tower of Guard. City of marble streets, lantern-lit courtyards, and high stone walls overlooking the wide plains of Gondor, beneath endless stars. But tonight is not a night of war. No horns, no marching armies. Tonight, the white city rests peacefully beneath the summer sky, while distant watchfires glow softly along the mountains. And high upon the walls, we spend a calm, quiet evening, watching the stars drift slowly over Middle-earth. So before the lanterns dim across the city below, take a moment to subscribe if you enjoy these slow, relaxing journeys through Tolkien's world. And if you'd like, leave a comment telling me which city of Middle-earth you would most want to see beneath the stars. Now, let the world grow still around you, and let us climb the stone roads of Minas Tirith while evening settles gently across Gondor. The city glows white beneath the setting sun, 7 great levels rising one above another against the mountainside. White walls, narrow streets, countless windows reflecting the final gold light of evening. Far below the city stretches the Pelennor, wide green fields crossed by winding roads and silver streams glowing softly beneath the fading sky. Smoke rises peacefully from distant farmhouses. The river Anduin gleams faint blue beyond the plains, and far away upon the eastern horizon, the last traces of daylight slowly disappear behind shadowed hills. A young guard climbs steadily toward the upper walls carrying a lantern and a folded wool cloak. His boots echo softly against the ancient stone steps winding upward through the levels of the city. The air grows cooler higher above the streets. Fresh mountain wind drifts gently through the courtyards, carrying the scent of cedar wood, lantern oil, and distant summer flowers blooming in hidden gardens. Minas Tirith feels peaceful tonight. Children still laugh quietly near fountains on the lower levels. Merchants close market stalls beneath swaying lanterns. The sound of evening bells drifts softly through the white stone streets. But higher above the city, silence gradually deepens. The upper walls belong mostly to the watch, to quiet footsteps, to stars. The guard eventually reaches the 6th level where several lanterns already burn beside the parapets. Another watchman leans comfortably against the stone wall overlooking the plains below. "Quiet evening," he says with a faint smile. The young guard nods. "Best kind." The older watchman chuckles softly. Peace still feels precious in Gondor. Even years after war has ended, the young guard continues upward toward the highest outer wall overlooking the eastern plains. The sky above Minas Tirith darkens slowly now, deep blue spreading across the heavens, while the first stars emerge over the mountains. Far below, lanterns begin glowing across the city, tiny golden lights flickering along streets, balconies, and quiet stone terraces. From this height, Minas Tirith almost resembles a field of stars itself. The guard reaches the wall at last. Cool white stone stretches beneath his hands while the world opens endlessly before him. The plains of Gondor spread outward beneath the twilight. Dark forests, silver rivers, rolling hills fading slowly into shadow. And above it all, the stars continue appearing one by one. He hangs the lantern carefully beside the parapet. Warm, golden light spills softly across the ancient stone. Then he settles comfortably against the wall wrapped in the wool cloak while evening deepens around the white city. Below him, the quiet life of Minas Tirith continues. Music drifts faintly upward from somewhere lower in the city. A harp, perhaps, or a flute carried softly through open windows. The sound blends gently with the distant murmur of fountains echoing through the stone streets. The guard breathes deeply. The air smells wonderfully clean tonight. Summer grass from the Pelennor, fresh mountain wind, lantern smoke curling lazily upward through the cooling darkness. There is something calming about watch duty during peaceful years. No tension, no fear. Only long, quiet hours spent beneath the stars while the city sleeps safely below. At some point, another guard arrives carrying a small basket filled with bread, cheese, and 2 steaming cups of tea. The older watchman from below. "Thought you might appreciate company," he says warmly. The young guard smiles gratefully. Together they sit quietly upon the wall while night settles over Gondor. The stars brighten steadily overhead, cold silver lights above the mountains. The older guard eventually gestures toward the eastern sky. "My father once stood watch here during the war," he says softly. The young guard listens quietly. "He told me the stars looked exactly the same, even then." Again, silence settles between them. Peaceful silence, the kind shared only by tired watchmen high above sleeping cities. Below, Minas Tirith glows warmly beneath the summer night. Lanterns flicker along white walls. The great city rests quietly beside the mountains. And high above Gondor, 2 guards begin another calm, peaceful night, watching the stars from the walls of Minas Tirith. Night deepens gently over Minas Tirith. The stars grow brighter above the white city, while warm lantern light flickers across the marble streets far below. From the high walls, the whole of Gondor seems peaceful beneath the summer sky. The plains of the Pelennor stretch dark and quiet beyond the city. Tiny farm lanterns glow faintly beside distant roads, and farther west, the silver ribbon of the Anduin reflects scattered starlight beneath the mountains. The 2 guards remain seated beside the parapet, wrapped in cool night air. The older watchman tears pieces of fresh bread slowly, while the younger guard warms his hands around the steaming tea. The drink smells pleasantly of mint and mountain herbs gathered from the slopes of Mindalluin. Simple comforts matter during long watches. Warm tea, good bread, quiet company beneath the stars. Far below them, the city continues settling toward sleep. The upper levels have grown nearly silent now. Only the occasional sound of footsteps echoes softly through distant stone corridors. Somewhere lower in the city, a fountain continues singing steadily through one of the courtyards. The sound drifts upward faintly through the night. Minas Tirith never becomes entirely silent. Water always moves somewhere. Lanterns always burn behind certain windows, and the watch upon the walls continues through every hour of darkness. The younger guard eventually glances toward the stars above the eastern horizon. They seem brighter up here. The older watchman nods. The city sits close to the sky. Again, silence settles comfortably between them. The warm breeze carries the scent of summer flowers from hidden gardens farther down the mountainside. Somewhere nearby, a nightbird calls softly among the stone terraces. The whole city feels wonderfully calm tonight. The younger guard leans back against the cool white wall. He has always loved these quiet hours before midnight. The world seems slower then, the city softer somehow, beneath lantern light and stars. No crowded markets, No ringing bells, only peaceful stillness stretching across Gondor. The older watchman eventually begins speaking again. When I was young, I thought the walls were only for keeping danger away. The younger guard listens quietly. But after enough years, the older man says softly, "You realize they're also for protecting moments like this." Again, the city grows quiet around them. The younger guard studies the lanterns glowing below the walls, families sleeping peacefully, travelers resting safely inside warm inns, children dreaming beneath open windows cooled by the summer air. All of it sheltered behind the ancient stone of Minas Tirith. The older watchman rises slowly and walks a few paces along the parapet. The lantern beside the wall sways gently in the breeze. Far to the east, distant watchfires glow faintly among the hills beyond the Pelennor. Not warning fires, only small outposts keeping peaceful watch through the night. The older guard rests both hands upon the stone wall. "It's strange," he murmurs. "What is?" How quickly peace begins feeling normal again. The younger guard understands. The older men of Gondor still carry memories of darker years. Sieges, marching armies, smoke rising beyond the fields. Yet tonight none of that remains. Only stars. Only the quiet city breathing softly beneath the mountain. The younger guard eventually notices faint music drifting upward once more. A harp somewhere far below the walls. The melody moves slowly through the warm summer air, gentle, dreamlike. The two guards listen without speaking. Music always sounds different at night, especially from high places. The notes seem to drift farther beneath the stars. Hours pass peacefully upon the walls. The tea cools. The lantern flame burns lower. Clouds drift slowly across portions of the sky before revealing the stars once more. At some point, the younger guard notices movement far below upon the 7th level. A lone figure crossing one of the marble courtyards carrying another lantern through the quiet city. Even from this height, Minas Tirith feels alive, never crowded, never fully asleep. Simply calm. The older watchman eventually settles beside the parapet once more. Hard to believe people once feared this city would fall forever. The younger guard gazes across the white walls glowing beneath the stars. It feels eternal tonight. The older man smiles faintly. "Yes," he says softly. "It does." Again, silence returns. The stars continue turning slowly above Gondor. Lanterns flicker gently along the sleeping city, and high upon the ancient walls of Minas Tirith, two quiet watchmen continue their peaceful vigil beneath the endless summer sky. Let us remain upon the high walls a little longer, while the white city sleeps beneath the stars, and the quiet watch continues through the warm Gondorian night. Midnight passes softly over Minas Tirith. The upper levels of the city now rest almost entirely in silence. Only the distant murmur of fountains and the occasional whisper of wind through narrow stone streets drift upward toward the walls. Far below, lanterns continue glowing behind a handful of windows scattered across the city. Tiny, warm lights against the white stone. The younger guard wraps his cloak tighter against the cool mountain breeze. The night air has grown colder now. Fresh wind drifts down from the slopes of Mendolan, carrying the scent of pine forests and distant mountain grass. Beside him, the older watchman quietly trims the lantern flame while gazing eastward across the sleeping plains. The stars above Gondor shine brilliantly tonight. Sharp silver lights stretching endlessly beyond the mountains. The younger guard has never seen the sky clearer. Perhaps perhaps peaceful years make even the stars seem brighter. Below the walls, the seventh level lies nearly empty now. Marble courtyards gleam pale beneath moonlight. Tall banners hanging from the towers move softly in the night breeze. And somewhere far below, the white tree stands silent within the court of the fountain. Even from this distance, the guards can glimpse its pale blossoms, glowing faintly beneath the lanterns. The older watchman notices the younger man staring toward the court. Beautiful at night, isn't it? The younger guard nods slowly. I still can't believe it blooms again. Neither says more after that. Some things in Gondor still feel miraculous. Peace, the return of the king, the white tree flowering once more beneath the stars. The lantern beside them crackles softly, while the city continues sleeping peacefully below. At some point, another pair of guards passes quietly along the wall during their nightly rounds. Soft footsteps echo against the ancient stone. One nods politely toward the watchman before continuing onward into the darkness beyond the parapets. The walls of Minas Tirith never stand unwatched, even during peaceful summers. The younger guard eventually rises and walks slowly toward the eastern edge of the wall. The view from there stretches farther across Gondor. The Pelennor glows silver beneath moonlight. Thin rivers shimmer quietly through the fields. Far in the distance, tiny watchfires flicker beside lonely roads leading toward Ithilien. The world feels enormous from this height, yet strangely peaceful too. The younger guard rests both hands upon the cool stone parapet. He imagines countless others standing here across the long history of the city. Watchmen during winter storms, soldiers during uncertain years, kings gazing eastward beneath darker skies. And always above them, these same stars. Unchanged, the older watchman eventually joins him beside the wall. For several quiet moments, both simply watch the sleeping lands below. Then the older guard speaks softly. When I was younger, I thought courage meant fighting. The younger guard listens, but now I think sometimes it means believing peaceful nights will return again. Again, silence settles gently between them. The younger guard studies the city below. Warm homes, quiet courtyards, lanterns glowing softly beside marble stairways. Everything sheltered safely beneath the ancient walls. Perhaps the older man is right. Perhaps peace itself becomes something worth guarding. A cool breeze moves across the parapets. Somewhere below, faint music rises once more through the sleeping city. Only a flute now, a slow, wandering melody, drifting softly through the warm night air. The younger guard smiles faintly. Minas Tirith feels almost dreamlike at this hour, a white city suspended between mountains and stars. The older watchman eventually pours the final tea from the kettle into 2 cups. The drink has cooled slightly, but still carries the gentle taste of mint and herbs. They drink quietly while clouds drift slowly across portions of the sky. Moonlight fades briefly behind them, then returns silver and clear over the walls once more. Hours continue slipping peacefully toward dawn. The city remains calm. No alarm bells, no hurried footsteps. Only the endless quiet breathing of Minas Tirith beneath the stars. And high upon the ancient white walls above Gondor, 2 watchmen continue their gentle vigil while the summer night drifts slowly onward through the 4th age. Let us linger through the final hours before dawn, while Minas Tirith rests peacefully beneath the fading stars and the watch continues above the sleeping lands of Gondor. The night grows colder upon the upper walls. In silver mist drifts quietly along the lower fields of the Pelennor, while the white city glows softly beneath moonlight and lantern flame. Most of Minas Tirith now sleeps deeply. The market streets stand empty. Fountains whisper gently through silent courtyards, and high above the city, the stars wheel slowly over the mountains. The younger guard remains beside the parapet, wrapped tightly in his cloak. His breath drifts faintly through the cool air. Beside him, the older watchman leans comfortably against the ancient stone wall while gazing toward the western horizon. The lantern between them burns lower now. Its warm amber glow spills softly across the white marble beneath their boots. For several quiet moments, neither speaks. The peacefulness of the city feels complete enough already. At last, the younger guard breaks the silence. "Do you ever miss the excitement?" The older watchman smiles faintly beneath his gray beard. "Not as much as I once thought I would." Again, silence settles gently around them. The younger guard understands. There is a different kind of pride in peaceful nights, a quieter kind, the pride of standing watch while others sleep safely below. Far beneath the walls, a single lantern moves slowly through one of the lower streets, perhaps a healer returning home, or a baker beginning preparations before dawn. Even at this late hour, Minas Tirith still breathes softly beneath the mountain. The city never truly becomes still. Water flows, lanterns burn. The watch remains awake. The younger guard eventually walks a short distance farther along the wall. The stone beneath his boots has been worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. Kings, captains, ordinary watchmen carrying lanterns beneath countless nights just like this one. The thought comforts him strangely. Minas Tirith endures because generations kept watch quietly long after songs and battles faded. The older guard notices him tracing the ancient stonework. "These walls remember everything," he says softly. The younger man glances upward. "Do you believe that?" The older watchman nods. Stone listens longer than people do. Again, the younger guard smiles. The older watchman always speaks like someone half living inside old stories. Perhaps that simply happens after enough years in Minas Tirith. A cool breeze drifts across the parapets, carrying the scent of pine and summer grass from the hills beyond the city. Far away, somewhere beyond the Pelennor, an owl calls softly through the darkness. The sound echoes faintly beneath the stars. Then, quiet returns once more. The younger guard eventually settles beside the lantern again. The flame flickers gently between them, while clouds slowly drift westward across the heavens. The stars near the eastern horizon begin fading slightly. Dawn approaches. The older watchman notices it too. Almost morning. The younger guard nods reluctantly. There is something peaceful about these final hours before sunrise. The city feels suspended between worlds somehow. Neither asleep nor fully awake, only resting quietly beneath the mountains. Far below them, the white tree gleams pale beside the court of the fountain. Its blossoms shimmer softly beneath moonlight. The younger guard studies it thoughtfully. "When I was a child," he says quietly, "I used to think Minas Tirith would last forever." The older watchman remains silent for several moments. Then he answers gently, "Nothing lasts forever." The younger guard lowers his eyes slightly, but the older man continues, "That's why peaceful nights matter." Again, silence follows. Soft, understanding. The younger guard gazes once more across the sleeping city. lanterns glowing along the levels, white towers shining beneath the stars. Quiet homes resting safely behind ancient stone. Perhaps the older man is right. Perhaps the beauty of Minas Tirith lives partly in its fragility, a bright city preserved carefully against time and darkness. The first faint colors of dawn begin appearing at last beyond the eastern hills. Pale silver, soft blue, the stars slowly dim above Gondor. Birdsong begins quietly somewhere among the gardens below the walls. The older watchman rises slowly from beside the lantern. "Another peaceful night," he murmurs. The younger guard smiles, the best kind. Together they stand beside the parapet while dawn slowly approaches over the white city. And high above Minas Tirith, the final stars fade gently from the summer sky while the watch continues peacefully into morning. Dawn arrives slowly over Gondor. The eastern horizon brightens with soft silver light, while the final stars fade gently above the mountains. Mist drifts across the Pelennor fields below Minas Tirith, thin, pale ribbons moving quietly between streams, gardens, and distant roads. The white city glows beautifully in the first light of morning. Its marble walls shift gradually from moonlit silver to warm pearl beneath the rising sun. High upon the upper wall, the two guards remain beside the parapet, watching the world awaken below. The lantern between them has nearly burned out now. Only a faint amber glow remains against the cool white stone. The younger guard breathes deeply. The mountain air feels wonderfully fresh after the long, peaceful night. Below the city, birds begin singing softly among the gardens and courtyards. Fountains continue their endless gentle song through the quiet streets. And somewhere lower upon the levels, the first bells of morning begin ringing faintly across Minas Tirith. The city awakens carefully, slowly, almost reluctantly after such a calm night beneath the stars. The older watchman folds his cloak neatly across one arm while studying the brightening plains beyond the walls. Far away, sunlight touches the silver ribbon of the Anduin. Tiny farmhouses emerge from the mist. Roads slowly reappear, winding through the Pelennor toward distant hills. Peace stretches across Gondor this morning. Warm, quiet, enduring. The younger guard notices movement far below upon the lower levels. Merchants opening shutters. Stable boys carrying buckets across narrow streets. Kitchen smoke rising from bakeries already preparing fresh bread for the city. Life returning gently to Minas Tirith. Yet, from this height, everything still feels wonderfully calm. The older watchman eventually smiles faintly toward the waking city. "You never forget nights like this." The younger guard nods. He knows he will remember it always. The stars above the walls, the quiet conversations, lantern glow against ancient stone, and the peaceful feeling of standing watch while the white city slept safely below. At last, the first golden rays of sunlight reach the upper walls. Warm light spills across the parapets. The towers of Minas Tirith shine brilliantly beneath the dawn. Even the white tree far below seems brighter now within the court of the fountain. The younger guard rests both hands upon the parapet one final time. The stone feels cool beneath the morning air. For a little while longer, he gazes outward across Gondor. Green fields, silver rivers, blue mountains fading softly into distance. The world looks peaceful from here. Perhaps not perfect, but healing. The older watchman notices the expression upon his face. "You're thinking like a man of Gondor now." The younger guard smiles quietly. "And what does that mean?" The older man glances toward the sunrise. End quote. It means learning how precious peaceful mornings truly are. Again, silence settles between them. Not empty silence, the comfortable kind shared by people who have watched darkness pass and dawn return again. Below them, Minas Tirith fully awakens beneath the sunlight. The bells ring brighter, voices drift upward from the streets. The smell of fresh bread and cedar smoke rises through the cold mountain air. The long, peaceful night upon the walls slowly comes to an end. The older watchman finally lifts the lantern. Its flame flickers once before fading completely in the growing daylight. No longer needed, morning has come. Together the two guards begin descending slowly from the upper wall. Their footsteps echo softly against the ancient stone stairways winding downward through the white city. Behind them, the stars vanish fully from the sky above Gondor. Yet, their memory lingers somehow within the quiet calm of the morning, because nights like these leave something behind, a reminder that peace can exist after long darkness, that lanterns still glow warmly beside ancient walls, that stars still shine over Middle-earth no matter how troubled the years become. And high above the waking lands of Gondor, the walls of Minas Tirith continue standing silent and watchful beneath the light of a new day.